In this video, I am going to give you the 7 most difficult interview questions. Now, if you have a job interview coming up, I strongly recommend you stay tuned, you watch it from start to finish, because I will help you to pass your job interview. Now, to achieve that goal, this is what I am going to cover. So I am going to give you the 7 most difficult interview questions. These will come up during your job interview. I will also give you some really important tips for answering all 7 interview questions correctly, and I will then give you example answers to all 7 difficult interview questions to help you pass your job interview. And finally, I will tell you how you can access further resources, including these slides, to help you succeed. So the first of our 7 most difficult interview questions is, why should we hire you? Now, the interviewer is seeking an answer that demonstrates you can make a positive difference to their organization in the role you are applying for. Here are 2 really important tips for answering this question correctly, and I will then give you a model answer. Tip number 1, it is essential you show how you can add value to their business if they hire you. Tip number 2, when you answer the difficult interview question, why should we hire you? Talk about learning the role quickly, helping their business to grow, and being totally focused on continuous improvement and progression. So here's a great example answer to the first difficult interview question, why should we hire you? Here we go. I believe you should hire me because I have the necessary skills and qualities to come into the job and make an immediate impact. I will learn the role quickly, and I will start contributing to the team goals in as fast a time as possible. I will need little supervision, and I will always focus on helping the team progress, improve, and develop. By hiring me, you will be getting a loyal, trustworthy, and hardworking team member who will put the goals of the company above everything else. That is the perfect answer to that first difficult interview question, why should we hire you? Question number 2 of our 7 most difficult interview questions is, what is your greatest weakness? Tip number 1, do not give a weakness that is a match for the job description. That's very, very important. Tip number 2, instead, give a weakness that shows you are human, but that you are also taking steps to improve upon that weakness. So here's another great example answer to help you. To the difficult interview question, what is your greatest weakness? Here we go. My weakness is I find it hard to say no to people. For example, even when I don't have the capacity to take on extra work, I still end up saying yes to people because I don't want to let them down. Now, however, I am trying to improve in this area, and before I say yes to things, I am now starting to take the time to consider my own workload and the capacity I have to take on extra duties. That is a safe answer to that difficult interview question, what is your greatest weakness? Question number 3 of our 7 most difficult interview questions, tell me something you didn't like about your last job. This is a difficult question. Tip number 1, do not be negative about work colleagues or your former boss. Tip number 2, my advice is to talk casually about something that perhaps frustrated you about your last job, but also mention some positive things too. Here's another great example answer to help you. Tell me something you didn't like about your last job. Here we go. There wasn't much that I didn't like about my last job, although I did feel we could have achieved a lot more as a company if we'd have tried. The business was very good at what it did, but I always felt we could have done more to boost company sales and revenue. Having said that, it was a great place to work, and I really enjoyed my time whilst I was there. I worked alongside lots of positive people, and I was continually learning in the role, which was important to me. That's a brilliant answer to that difficult interview question. Tell me something you didn't like about your last job. Question number 4 of our 7 most difficult interview questions is, how would you deal with conflict with a co-worker? Tip number 1, do not say you would leave the conflict for your boss or your manager to sort out, because if you do say that, I believe you will fail the interview. Tip number 2, the interviewer wants to hear that you would take steps to resolve the conflict with your co-worker in a mature and amicable manner. So here's another really good answer to this difficult interview question. How would you deal with conflict with a co-worker? Here we go. I would seek to resolve the conflict immediately for the sake of our working relationship and for the sake of the team. Because if you leave conflict, it can grow and develop into something much worse, so I would get it rectified straight away. I would speak to my co-worker in private to get to the bottom of the problem, and I would suggest a way forward that we were both comfortable with. We both might need to compromise, but I would certainly push the idea that the conflict we were experiencing was counterproductive to our combined team's goals. That's a very good answer. It is mature and it is professional, and it shows you are not afraid to deal with the conflict that is present. So the next question, question 5 of our 7 most difficult interview questions is, why did you leave your last job? Tip number 1. Do not mention anything negative that may have occurred in your last job. That's very, very important. Tip number 2. Now, good reasons to give for leaving your last job include a change of working environment, wanting to progress yourself further, and also seeking to work for a new company that has ambitious and exciting plans. So here's my example answer to the 5th difficult interview question. Why did you leave your last job? Here we go. I left my last job for 2 reasons. The first reason was I felt like I was ready for a new and fresh challenge where my skills and qualities would be pushed a little bit further. My employer was fantastic, but I felt like I had reached the limit of progression. The second reason I left was because I wanted to work for a new and ambitious company that had exciting plans for the future. I'm a positive person and I want to feel like I am continually growing and developing in my work, and those are the reasons why I decided to leave. Those are really good reasons for wanting to leave your last or current job. Question 6 of our 7 most difficult interview questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Tip number 1. Do not mention that you plan to move on anywhere else within the first 5 years of working for their company. Because hiring and training staff takes time, it takes energy, and it takes money. So it makes perfect sense for the hiring manager to want to employ someone who is going to stay working for their company for a lengthy period of time. Here's my example answer to help you to the difficult interview question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Here we go. I am at the stage in my career where long-term employment with the same company would be extremely beneficial. I have personal plans outside of work, and the only way I will achieve these is if I stay with the same company long-term and that I perform to a high standard in my job role. I have studied your company in detail and I like what I see. In 5 years, I plan to still be working for you as a reliable, trustworthy and productive employee who is seen as an integral part of the team's performance. That's another really good positive answer that's going to help you to pass your job interview. Question 7. Why do you want to work for us? Now, tip number 1, it is imperative you mention in your answer that you have conducted some research into their company. Tip number 2, in your answer to this difficult interview question, talk about how you are attracted to their values and their plans for the future. So here's my example answer to help you. Why do you want to work for us? I carried out some research into your company before submitting my resume, and I was attracted to your company values, what you stand for, and how you have ambitious plans for the future. We spend a lot of time at work, and as such, it's important for me to work for a company that is going places, that does things to a high standard, and that wants to continually improve and develop. As someone who also has high standards, I believe both your goals and my own aspirations will be a perfect match. That is a brilliant answer to that difficult interview question. Why do you want to work for us? Now, if you would like a copy of these slides and all 7 answers, click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of the video. It takes you through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my full set of 21 great answers to difficult interview questions, including the ones I've worked through together with you today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We have over 500,000 subscribers now, and lots of you, I am pleased to say, are passing your job interviews as a result of the content I'm uploading. I don't want you to miss out. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I have put my LinkedIn link in the description below the video. And please finally give the video a like. Please give it a thumbs up, because that motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best for passing your job interview. Have a brilliant day.